Hello everybody and welcome back to Surge to Hit and for another episode of list building. This is going to be another Palpatine list build, but this time with a different associated bounty hunter and a different goal at mind. So without further ado, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video. And let's get right into it. Alright, starting out on this army, we have, of course, Palpatine. He's going to be kind of kitted out pretty standard for any Palpatine gunline. He's going to have anger and burst of speed, so he can run in there and get his big Palp bomb off extremely easily. He's also going to come equipped with Force Barrier, just as an extra layer of protection for some of our more fragile units in this build. Next, we're going to have the Imperial Officer, and she's going to come with Improvised orders, and she's also going to come with Electrobinoculars, just so she can pass out multiple aims in a given turn, especially to our sniper teams, which is going to be where the Officer shines. Next thing we're gonna add, and now this is where it can get changed around a little bit depending on your preference. You could have IG-88 or IG-11. For this list, we're going to be using IG-11, and there's also a few different variations of how specifically you can run him, which upgrades to use and whatnot. For the build that I'm going to be using at an upcoming tournament, it's going to be IG-11 with Bounty Protocol, Seize the Initiative, Emergency Transponder, and Emergency Stims, just to, add a little bit more survivability, help get an order on with Seize. Bounty programming is the programming you have to equip for the IG-11 and the Empire, and Seize the Initiative, Emergency Transponder, and Emergency Stims are all meant to give either A, give him out an order, or B, survivability. Next up, moving on to the core, we have three different cores. They're all Stormtroopers. The first unit is I've dubbed like the Repair Squad. That's because they come equipped with Del Meeko, which has Repair 2 Capacity 1, and the R4 Astromech Droid, which also comes with Repair. And what this does is it allows you to heal IG-11 over the course of the game up to 4 wounds, which is quite a good amount, and IG-11 will definitely appreciate it if he's getting focus fired to get healed. And a nice little combo between them is that since Del Meeko's Repair 2 Capacity 1 and the Astromech Droid's Repair 1 Capacity 2, since they're different keywords and they're both free actions, they can be activated at the same time for free. And it is potentially almost very much helpful, because let's say, for example, IG-11 gets shot and he gets hit with 5 damage. You roll and you do horrible and you get 5 blanks. IG-11 should be dead. But combo that with Emergency Stims. He takes 2 wounds onto that card. Now he only has 3 wounds on him instead of being dead at 5. And then your next activation, you activate Del Meeko's core and you heal him for 3. He's full health. But then obviously next turn he's going to take another 2 damage from Emergency Stims, but he's still alive, which is the important thing. This Repair Squad is really powerful, and also Del Meeko is a sniper with high velocity, which is really good against, any dodge spam type lists. The second core is going to be the medic unit, and this is really simple. It's Stormtroopers with a medical droid. They're really meant to heal Palpatine if they're able to get to him in time after a bomb goes off, or after his Palp bomb goes off, or to heal Palpatine if he's prematurely damaged during the game. Or, and I've used this before, to heal the Royal Guards, because by healing the Royal Guards, you can have them guardian more damage, and thus help your entire army. But that's the Medbot unit. The third and last core unit is going to be a little bit of a shocker, I know, but it's going to be an HH-12 Stormtrooper unit. And the main reason behind having an HH-12 is due to the future Dark Troopers that are going to be in the game. It also provides a little bit more anti-armor, because IG-11 does not have Surge to Crit. So the only Surge to Crit you have in the army up to this point is from Palpatine, who has to be very close to get that off anyways. And what the HH-12 provides you with is another way to potentially get impact on the board. And potentially throw your enemies for a loop. You could do this, where you have the Stormtroopers shoot with the HH-12 at a vehicle or whatnot, and then they recover to get the HH-12 back, and then Palp could tell them to shoot again. So you could potentially get 2 rockets off on a single target with it, which is pretty nice. But enough about the HH-12, let's get on to the Special Forces. Alright, so for the Special Forces, if you have Palpatine, you're gonna probably have some Royal Guards. So we have 1 unit of Royal Guards. They come with the Electrostaff, Tenacity, and Protector. Having Protector is really nice because you can just cancel crits, especially with the new rule change about how it's pretty easy to get heavy cover now. So having some critical protection is really nice because I can imagine critical is going to be a very common keyword in the future. People are going to be running a lot of that. And further on, Tenacity, just because it's a melee unit, it's to protect you against any Jedis that jump into your back lines. And they also have the Electrostaff for that same purpose, to defend against melee pierce. And their biggest role in this army is also to protect any strike teams that might need protecting. Because you have 2 strike teams in this list, and they're very much vulnerable to being destroyed by powerful ranged attacks. But speaking of the strike teams, we can move on straight to them. Alright, and finally, to round off this list, there are 2 Scout Trooper strike teams. They are meant to simply either A, sit on an objective and shoot from afar, or B, just spend their days at the edge of range 5, aiming and shooting, trying to whittle down your enemy. I had a game with them where I had one strike team that I lost, I think, in round 2 because I placed them a little bit too aggressively onto a supply drop box, and they ended up getting absolutely obliterated by some Mandalorians, and it was not fun. But then the other unit I had spent the entire game aim shooting, and they were very consistently taking out 1 or 2 models every single round, just consistently getting that ticked off. And overall, comboing it with the rest of the list, the strike teams work out really well. Alright, so now looking at the list as a whole, what do you want to do with it? So let's first start with the Imperial Officer. The Imperial Officer is really going to want to be handing out aims every turn. And the 2 main groups of handing out aims I have kind of almost like designated in my head is you're going to want to give an aim to IG-11 and Meeko as like a set, or to strike teams, and that's like you're gonna want to give your aims to like 2 people in that group, and that's gonna be really important because especially for your strike teams or for Meeko, it's important because you could activate lethal 1 and give him pierce on his rifle, and then for the Scout Troopers it's really important because double black dice. I've done it before of 2 black dice at range 5. And without an aim, it's real big. Feels bad when they simply blank out on you. You don't have an aim. So giving an aim for them is really nice. And then IG-11, it's important if you can get an aim on him to get an aim on him, especially if you use Palpatine to have him attack twice in a round. That's really important because if you don't know this, IG-11 has a gunslinger. So IG-11 can shoot twice on his turn, and then Palpatine could activate him and have him shoot twice on Palpatine's turn again. So you could potentially have IG-11 shooting 4 times in a round, almost every single round, which is a little bit, crazy to think about almost. But nonetheless, it is an interesting combo to work with. Then speaking of the IG-11 and Palpatine, that's going to be a combo. Palpatine's really going to be wanting, if it's a really heavy infantry army, he's going to want to be double tapping IG-11. If it's a really high dodge spam army, he's probably going to want to be having the snipers double tap. And also, I had this happen in that same game I was mentioning earlier with my snipers. Having him double tap with the Royal Guards is really interesting. I had a play with Palpatine where I had the Royal Guards I had the Royal Guards move closer to Maul so that on their turn, they could aim and then move in for a charge, and they're able to pummel Maul to death, basically. They killed Maul in like one shot, and that's just another combo. Palpatine just combos really well with everybody in the army, really, except maybe like the officer, and that's about it. But Palpatine's really good. Your Medbot unit, keeping your guards and Palpatine healthy. Meeko and Astromech unit, you're going to be trying to keep IG-11 healthy. And the HH-12 unit is going to be either your objective holder, an objective grabber unit. For example, they're the unit that I choose for hostage most of the time. And also, you're going to want to keep them near Palp if they do have heavy armor, a lot of armor, because then you can double tap the HH-12, which can be extremely useful at times. Alright, so some final thoughts on the list. I've played this list only once so far, and it's really enjoyable. I would say, as a quick tip, if you can, put IG-11, have him bounty and operative. Have him bounty and operative if you can, because then he could potentially be handing out up to 8 suppression in a single turn with double tapping of Palpatine, because he can shoot once with his rifle, suppressive. There's 2 suppression on that unit. Shoots another unit with gunslinger, 2 suppression on that unit. Then Palp double taps him and goes, hey, 2 more suppression on each of those units. He could end a turn by adding 4 suppression onto 2 different enemy units, which is pretty good. I'm gonna be bringing this list to Du Bois Golden Sprue 2023. It's gonna be coming up fairly soon. Maybe by the time this video is posted, it'll already have happened. But this is the list that I plan on bringing. If you guys have any comments about the list, any suggestions about it for maybe future videos type stuff, let me know in the comments below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Put the bell on if you want notifications about the next time we upload. And without further ado, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. Peace.